Hi folks, doing Hero of None here on May 10th, 2019 with your Mundus Minutes. Golden Merchant, Luxury Merchant, and news all in a few minutes. So first up, in the news, we don't have a whole lot of news right now. There's a few articles up on oldscrollsonline.com coming up with the new Necromancer class, the new trials, and a talk with Alfred Mullihan, which is the voice of Abner Tharn. But most of us are just waiting for the Elsewhere expansion to be coming out, which is going to be coming out on PCs May 20th and on all consoles and PC on June 4th. So if you haven't already, get your pre-orders in now. If you wait too long, you're not going to get all those goodies that come with the pre-order, and yeah, you'll be missing out. Next up, in the Luxury Merchant tonight, it's a lot of Necromancer stuff. So we had a lot of dark stuff, and it seems to be continuing on. They call them Ulcerary, which is actually a pretty nice pillar. If you have a kind of dark home you want to be celebrating. A Necromancer Brazier, Gold Flame. It's kind of like the one we had last week. A Necromancer Spire, similar to the one that we had last week, just slightly different design and skull placement. And a huge Necromancer Spire here. On this. Next up, in the Golden Merchant, Necklace of the Draugr, which is healing taken, health, and when you take damage while you're under 35%, knock all enemies down within 4 meters of you, and for 2 seconds, and heal yourself for 7,000 health. Effect can occur once every 20 seconds. Honestly, not a great set, I'd say. You probably get more health from White Strakes, and honestly, the knockback, not a good thing. And 35% health, it's just shy of getting yourself into an execute range. 7,000 is not enough to get yourself above 50% in most builds, so I'd probably skip this one, unfortunately. Smuggler's Necklace. Health, Magicka recovery, and spell damage. And when you drink a potion, you gain Major Expedition for 30 seconds, increasing your movement speed by 30%. A set that I would just skip. This is just not a good set. Don't bother with this. A Major Expedition, you get other sets that give you Major Expedition, which are much more useful. You can get this from Coward's Rings, which actually gives you protection, and Major Expedition when you sprint. You can get it out of Vicious Ophidian, which is a trial set, which also gives you stamina back and actually gives you Major Slayer. Ultimately more better than this set here. Definitely skip this one. Don't get that, please. For 250k, you can get Iron Blood. This is one of the sets out of the Bloodroot Forge set. So you have a health, physical resistance, spell resistance, and when you take damage, you have 8% chance to change your blood into pure iron to gain major protection for 10 seconds, reducing your movement speed by 30%. But your movement speed, to reduce your damage taken by 30%. But your movement speed is reduced by 50%. Effect can occur once every 15 seconds. Interesting set. Would recommend it. There's other sets that are coming up in the next patch, which are going to be interesting with this. And honestly, Major Protection, it's okay, but the low percentage chance to get this in the huge hit on your movement speed is basically putting a self-snare on yourself. Just not worth it. Just don't bother with it. I mean, you can try getting along with the gap closures, but yeah, there's other sets that are just much better off. And maybe some minor protection with the Vampire Lord set out of Stormhaven. And there's another set that's coming out. I can't remember exactly what it was named, but honestly, don't bother with this. There's other sets, other abilities that give you much better protection. Thunderflame Necklace. Stamina, weapon damage, weapon critical. And we take damage when you deal damage with fully charged heavy attack. You deal an additional 4,800 flame damage and apply minor breach and minor fracture to an enemy, reducing their spell and physical resistance by 13,020 for 8 seconds. I really wish this set was good. This comes out of not Elden Hollow, City of Ash. And I love this set way back when, before they changed us over to a minor breach and minor fracture. But with this now, you have to actually deal a fully charged heavy attack. meaning in PvP, you're probably never going to land the heavy attack. And inside PvE side, you have other classes that can give Minor Breach and Minor Fracture as part of a regular damage rotation, which just wouldn't apply to this. You're better off going with Alkosh, Torags, a whole lot of other sets that are going to give this breach as well. So, yeah, just not worth it, unfortunately. But I did love this set way back when it actually gave it just gave a straight reduction without having that minor breach and that minor buff there and all that stuff. If you didn't know, again, minor buffs do not stack, so you have to kind of judge on what you're going to be using them with. For 100k, you can get Dohas Pauldrones, which is Stamina Magicka, and when you do damage, you have 50% chance to create a ring of fire of molten earth around you for 10 seconds, which deals 1200 flame damage and 1200 physical damage for 1 second. Standing as a ring grants you 1000 or 193 spell damage or 193 weapon damage. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. Okay, so the one piece here is interesting. Stamina Magicka, I would recommend getting the set, but I'd probably recommend getting the helmet rather than the shoulders. Shoulders, again, you can get these out of the coffers with just rings. You don't have to, not rings, with keys by doing your pledges. So you don't necessarily have to go to the Pagoda Merchant to get this. The two-piece on this is a hybrid type build, which people have been trying to make work for a while now, but honestly, you've got to min-max one way or the other way for this. You're getting flame damage when you're a magic. Sorry, you get flame damage when you're a stamina build. You don't have that magical penetration. You get the physical damage when you don't have spell penetration. It doesn't work out. In addition to that, the spell damage and weapon damage flip-flopping like this doesn't help you at all. So I can't really recommend the two-piece set. The one-piece set, very interesting. I probably would recommend getting this at the one-piece set, but again, probably want to get the helmet if anything. And if you really want to get the shoulders, just gamble the keys. Next one, Falcon Scoria Pauldrones. Maximum health, and when you deal damage, with damage over time effects, you have 8% chance to summon a meteor that does 10k damage, and an additional 4k, 4.8k to all enemies within 5 meters of it. It can occur once every 5 seconds. This is a meta set. Do get it. However, the shoulders, probably better off just gambling the key. If you want to get the helmet for this, City of Ash. And it's a pretty easy dungeon to do at this point. City of Ash 2, I should say. Pretty easy dungeon to do. Would not bother with this. Again, you're going to get infused or you're going to get imped. Imped actually might be useful for a PvP, so maybe you want to spend those AP for that if you're just having really bad luck getting those keys out. But otherwise, probably just gamble the keys, guys. Anyways, that's Hero of None with the Mundus Minute. I'll see you on Time Rail.